Good morning, students. Today we shall read the chapter The Sermon at Banaras. This is the chapter 10th from the book First Flight. So, the Sermon at Banaras is a chapter written by Betty Renshaw. The chapter covers the journey of Lord Gautam Buddha from princehood to his saintly life. After seeing the suffering of the world, he decided to give up all worldly pleasures and sought enlightenment. He finally obtained salvation under a tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. His first sermon was delivered at Banaras near the bank of the Ganges. Ganges means Ganga river. Okay. Kisa Gautami was the first one to receive the sermon. Understand? Now, the lady named Kisa Gautami realized that men are mortal and a wise person should not grieve at what is bound to happen, for it only enhances pain and suffering. But how she realized this thing? Let's read the chapter to know about this. Okay, now let's start with reading the chapter The Sermon at Banaras. Gautam Buddha 563 BC to 483 BC began life as a prince named Siddhartha Gautama in northern India. At 12, he was sent away for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures, and for 4 years later, he returned home to marry a princess. They had a son and lived for 10 years as befitted loyalty. At about the age of 25, the prince, heretofore shielded from the sufferings of the world, while out hunting, chanced upon a sick man, then an aged man, then a funeral procession, and finally a monk begging for alms. These sights too moved him that he at once went out into the world to seek enlightenment. Concerning the sorrows he had witnessed, he wandered for 7 years and finally sat down under a peepal tree where he vowed to stay. Until enlightenment came. Enlightened after 7 days, he renamed the tree the Bodhi tree, tree of wisdom. What is the meaning of Bodhi tree? Tree of wisdom. And began to teach and to share his new understandings. At that point, he became known as the Buddha. What is the meaning of Buddha? The awakened or the enlightened. Okay. The Buddha preached his first sermon at the city of Banaras, most holy of the dipping places on the river Ganges. And sermon has been preserved and is given here. It reflects the Buddha's wisdom about one inscrutable kind of suffering. Okay, now see the meaning of difficult words on previous page. First, sacred scriptures. Sacred scriptures means pious books like Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and then Quran, Bible. All these are sacred scriptures. And Veda and Purana, Upanishads, all these are sacred scriptures. Okay. The next word is befitted royalty, means suited royalty or aristocracy. Then heretofore means till then. Shielded means protected. Protected. Chanced upon means came across by chance. Okay. Or accidentally or occasioned. Then funeral procession means procession of a dead person to the cremation ground, etc., or burial ground, etc. Then next is monk, means ascetic or a beggar, understand? Or we can say sage. Now the meanings on the next page are, there are some more meanings on the same page. Alms means beggings. Enlightenment means spiritual knowledge. Concerning means connecting, okay? And witness means seen. Vowed means swore. Then there are other meanings. Preached means spread the message, okay? Sermon means religious or moral talk. Dipping places means places where people bathe by dipping in the river water. Understand? The next is preserved, means kept safe, safeguarded. Then next word is reflects. Reflects means shows, and inscrutable means which cannot be understood. Understand? Now the meaning of this paragraph. Now understand the meaning of the passage. So Gautam Buddha, Lord Gautam Buddha was born to a North Indian royal family as a prince and was named as Siddhartha Gautama. Okay. He was sent to a far away place when he was 12 years old to study Hindu sacred scriptures like Ved, Puran, Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharata and all that. And upon returning, 4 years later, he got married to a princess named Yashodhara. Okay. Soon they both had a son named Rahul, and they continued to live the royal life for about more or less 10 years. Okay. Happily. The royals were shielded from all the unpleasant experiences, means his parents or the king did not allow any sorrow to touch Siddhartha. Understand? He did not allow a single unpleasant experiences or incident to his son. Understand? And how long did he do? Until the prince met a sick man. He could do till that. Understand? An aged man, a funeral procession, and a monk looking for alms. These experiences acted as eye openers for him, and thus he left all the royalty behind to seek a higher sense of spiritual knowledge. Understand? Then Gautam Buddha went in search of enlightenment for about 7 years before he finally came across a peepal tree and chose to sit under it till he became awakened. When he finally attained salvation after 7 days, he decided to retitle the tree as the Bodhi tree. What is the meaning of Bodhi tree? Means the tree of wisdom. Understand? And he himself came to be known as Buddha, which means the awakened or enlightened. He even began preaching his new realizations, and his first sermon, was given in the city of Banaras. Okay, the city of Banaras, known to be sacred as it resides on the bank of the river Ganga. The first sermon he gave was preserved and is famous till the date, or we can say till today. It is given below as well. You can see. Okay, we'll see and we'll go through it. It gives a new perspective to a man's unending sufferings. Okay, so let's see this. You can see on the page. Kisa Gautami had only son, and he died. In her grief, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine. And the people said, "She has lost her senses. The boy is dead." Okay. At length, Kisagotmi met a man who replied to her request. I cannot give the medicine for thy child, but I know a physician who can. And the girl said, Pray tell me, sir, who is it? And the man replied, Go to Shakyamuni, Shakyamuni, the Buddha. Kisagotmi repaired to the Buddha and cried, Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy. Talks about a lady named Kisagotmi whose son had recently died. Struck with unending pain or grief, sorrow, she took her son door to door, requesting for a wonder drug that could bring her son back to life. Okay, quite obviously, everyone thought that the lady had lost her ability to think clearly. Going on from door to door, she finally came across a man who couldn't offer any medicine but led her to Shakyamuni, the Buddha. Filled with hope, the lady visited Gautam Buddha and begged him for a cure for her child. Okay, now the Buddha answered, I want a handful of mustard seed. And when the girl, in her joy, promised to procure it, the Buddha added, the mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. Okay, then what happened? When she went to Shakyamuni, just as the as he said, who said? Shakyamuni said, means Gautam Buddha said, he asked Kisagotmi to get a handful of mustard seeds. Restored with hope, Kisagotmi thought it to be very simple task until Lord Buddha instilled a condition. He laid a condition to her that the mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child or husband or parent or friend. Understand? Now, poor Kisagotmi now went from house to house, and the people pitied her and said, Her, here is mustard seed, take it. But when she asked, Did a son or daughter or father or mother die in your family? They answered her, Alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. Do not remind us of our deepest grief. And there was no house, but some beloved one had died in it. Means, once again, Kisagotmi went from door to door. Okay, but this time she was looking for mustard seeds. This time she was not seeking the help for regaining life of her son. Okay, now this time she was looking for mustard seeds to each and every house. Now many had mustard seeds to offer, but none of them could fulfill Lord Buddha's condition of having seen no deaths in the family or in a single family. Upon being asked, people requested her not to remind them of their sorrows. Okay, unfortunately, she couldn't find a suitable home to get mustard seeds for her son. Okay, now next, Kisagotni became weary and hopeless and sat down at the wayside watching the lights of the city as they flickered up and were extinguished again. At last, the darkness of the night reigned everywhere, and she considered the fate of men, that their lives flicker up and are extinguished again. And she thought to herself, How selfish am I in my grief! Death is common to all, yet in this valley of desolation there is a path that leads him to immortality. Who has surrendered all selfishness? Now you can see the meaning on this page, page number 134. Okay, I'll teach you all the meaning. I'll tell you all the meaning. Preached means spread the message. Sermon means religious or moral talk. Dipping places means places where people bathe by dipping into the water of river. Then preserve means kept safe. Safeguard. Reflects means shows. Inscrutable means shows. In then lost her senses means gone mad. At length means at last. Physician means consulting doctor. Next is procure means obtain. Then grief means suffering, sorrow. Weary means tired. Next word is flickered up means shown. Valley of desolation means area where there is deep sorrow. Immortality means deathlessness. Deathlessness. Okay. Then surrendered means submitted. And selfishness means thinking of one's own self. Okay. Now understand the meaning of this paragraph. So all hopes was lost for Kisagotmi, and thus in extreme anguish and pain, she found herself a place to ponder. Ponder means think deeply. At the edge of the road, she continuously watched city lights blinking and observed all the lights till there was just darkness all around. After deep reflection means thought, or having pondered very deep, she realized that man's fate was just like these city lights that flicker and extinguish repeatedly. The cycle of birth and death is nature's way of working. Suddenly, she became conscious as to how selfish she had been in her sorrow, and that one who was born must rest eternally. Okay, men are mortal, okay, and the ones that are immortals have covered a path free from all worldly pleasures. Now see the last lines. The Buddha said the life of mortals in this world is troubled and brief and combined with pain, for there is not any means by which those that have been born can avoid dying. After reaching old age, there is death. Of such a nature are living beings. As ripe fruits are really in danger of falling, so mortals, when born, are always in danger of death. As all earthen vessels made by the potter end in being broken, so is the life of mortals, both young and adult, both those who are fools and those who are wise, all fall into the power of death. All are subject to death. Understand? Now see the meanings of difficult words on this page. On page number 135, mortals means persons here bound to die. Okay. Earthen vessels means utensils of clay. Potter means person who makes earthen vessels. Okay. Then overcome means controlled by. Won. Then depart means go away. Kinsman means relatives. Mark here means look. Lamenting means grieving. Slaughter means killing. Afflicted means affected by. Decay means state of rotting, decaying. Okay. Pale means yellow. Composed means controlled. Calm. And blessed means having not blessings. I have told all the meanings of the word on this page. Now let's understand the meaning of this paragraph up to death. Okay. Now, so according to Lord Buddha, the life of mortals is troubled because they have not made peace with the fact that the one who is born must rest eternally, or means must die eternally. Understand? There is no way a living being can avoid facing death. All have to die once, or whosoever born has to die once. Okay, just like a ripe fruit is more prone to falling to the ground from a tree, an aged mortal is bound to die once in life. Just like all earthen vessels, means utensils, soil utensils or vessels or utensils made of soils break at some point. So do men, whether old or young, foolish or wise, death leaves none. Okay, means death spares none, whether they are young, foolish, wise, or beautiful. Understand? Now, next paragraph. Of those who overcome by death depart from life. A father cannot save his son, nor kinsmen. Their relations mark, while relatives are looking on and lamenting deeply. One by one, mortals are carried off, like an ox that is led to the slaughter. So, the world is afflicted with death and decay. Therefore, the wise do not grieve, knowing the terms of the world. Okay, now understand the meaning of this passage. I have told the meanings beforehand to you. So he told, means Gautam Buddha told, the only way death works is by withdrawing the person from the living world or the physical world. That is, the person ceases to exist. No one has control over death. Neither a father can save his son, nor a mother can save her daughter or children, nor a kinsman his relatives. Understand? Just like an ox is taken to the slaughterhouses to be killed, to be murdered, so does death do with us, with mortals, with people. Okay, leaving none behind. Thus, the one who knows this truth and doesn't grieve at his loss is the one who has been called wise by Lord Buddha. So, who is called wise by Lord Buddha? One who knows the truth and doesn't grieve or doesn't weep at the loss of his or her dear or near one. Understand? He is called wise by Lord Buddha. Now, the next page, next paragraph, last paragraph. Not from weeping nor from grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. On the contrary, his pain will be the greater and his body will suffer. He will make himself sick and pale. Yet the dead are not saved by his lamentation. He who seeks peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation and complaint and grief. He who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed will obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all sorrow will become free from sorrow and be blessed. Okay, what is the meaning of lamentation? Lamentation means, or lamenting means grieving, weeping over something. Understand? Or lamentation means expression of sorrow. Understand? Now, the meaning of this paragraph. Finally, according to Lord Buddha, one should not grieve or express sorrow or weep or be miserable at something which is bound to happen, for it will keep a man away from obtaining peace of mind. Okay, it will only multiply the pain and sufferings if we weep over something or over the loss of something, like over the loss of our dear and near one, or over the loss of our property. Okay, if we weep over all these things, it increases our pain much more. It never decreases our pain, thus leading to physical weakness, and moreover, no amount of grief would bring back the dead. Understand? According to him, if we weep over the loss or over the death of our near and dear one, it would never bring back the dead or the loss. Understand? It is very important to understand that one must move past feelings like sorrow and grief. Means, according to him, one must leave all these things behind. Okay, as it is the only way that leads to the path of salvation. Understand? Salvation means being saved from the power of evil. Understand? Or something from danger, disaster, etc. Okay. Now, finally, we have read that this lesson is about the life of Gautam Buddha, Lord Buddha, who was born in royal family as Siddharth. Okay, his childhood name was Siddharth, and he was sent to study Hindu scriptures and later married to a princess. Once he saw a sick man, an old man, a funeral procession also, and a monk begging for money. So all these sights moved him, and he went to search for enlightenment. Understand? He started meditating under a peepal tree and got enlightened after 7 days and became known as the Buddha. What is the meaning of Buddha? Means enlightened person. He preached his first sermon at Banaras. Then once a woman came to him requesting to bring her dead child back to life. Okay. Gautam Buddha asked the lady to bring a handful of mustard seeds from a house where there no death occurred. Okay. The lady moved from one house to another, but she could not find a single house where no one died or lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. And finally, then she came to know that the death is common to all and is the ultimate truth of life. So that's all about the chapter, the sermon at Banaras. Thank you so much.